Welcome to Rashi, Parasha Study, Parashat Naso. Today we'll be analyzing the comments of Rashi from Rabbi Moshe Hadarshan about the korbanot of the Nesi'im. This week's Parasha, the Nesi'im bring each one of the 12 bring the same korban as part of an inauguration to the Mishkan. The first thing they bring is Ka'arot Kesef. They bring these bowls of silver. Rashi tells you in Gematria it equals 930, corresponding to the years of Adam Harishon. Each one of those bowls weighed 130 shekel. So Rashi comments, 130 is the age that Adam had Shet, from who the world was descended, right? Noah comes from Shet, the lineage of Cain is erased, and Hevel never had children. Then they bring another mizrak had of kesef. She says gematria like a vessel, another gold, silver vessel, and she says the gematria is 520 because Noah gave birth at 500, and for 20 years prior to him giving birth, there was a gezerah when he was 480. So 500 plus 20, there was a gezerah on the people of the world to be destroyed. And they had to do teshuvah. They failed to do it. And each one of these canisters of silver were 70 shekel. She comments and says, corresponding to the 70 nations that come out of the children. So the first two items, to recap, we have a reference to Adam. We have a reference to the age of the death of Adam and the age Adam gave birth to Shet. We have a reference to Noah and the age of 500 and 120 years of the flood, and 70 corresponding to the 70 nations that come from Noah. Okay. We then continue, and we have a spoon that was a spoon out of gold that was weighed 10 shekel, and that spoon, it corresponds to the Torah, that was given from the hand of Kadosh Baruch Hu. Okay, fine. And it's filled with ketoret, and ketoret hypothetically could be gematria 613, corresponding to the mitzvot, as long as you take the hoof of the word ketoret and you switch it with a dalet by a trick that we know to be called atbash, where you replace the last letter of the Hebrew alphabet, the first letter of the Hebrew alphabet with the last one, so aleph and tav switch, bet and shin switch, gimel and resh switch, and therefore dalet and kuf switch, and therefore we get 613. Okay, so we got the mitzvot, aseret hadibrot, and the 613 mitzvot. Then we have one bull, one ram, one sheep, corresponding to Abraham, Ishaq, and Yaakov. We find Abraham dealing with a bull when he's giving the bull to his guests. We find Ishaq, the ram is offered instead of him in Akedah Ishaq, and Yaakov is dealing with the sheep in Laban's house. Okay, and then we bring one goat, the goat to atone. Rashi says Yosef, that the sword is Irizim, and finally they bring two bulls as a korban shelamim. And Rashi comments to correspond to Moshe and Aharon that made peace between Am Yisrael and Avihem Shebashamayim and HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Because the Shilamim brings peace. So if we pause for a second and we analyze, so we got Adam, we got Noah, we got Abraham, Yitzhak, Yaakov, Moshe, Aharon. What's happening? Why is this all hinted to in the sacrifice of the Nesi'im? And I think we have to take a step back and realize exactly what the significance was about the Nesi'im offering the sacrifices. It wasn't necessarily that the Nesi'im had the ability to offer the sacrifice, but the fact that we have a Mishkan and we have Hashem's presence resting amongst humanity in this world. This is a completion of what the world was created for. These events on Rosh Chodesh Nisan, when the Shekhinah comes down and the fire appears, is a sense of completion for the world that started from Adam Harishon. Once Adam Harishon got kicked out of Gan Eden, the goal was how to bring Hashem back into this world. And Adam had Shet, whose lineage eventually was going to accomplish that. And Noah was the only one remaining from all the people of the flood because he was the only one cognizant of Hashem. And then came along Abraham, Yitzhak, and Yaakov, and each one helped bring down the presence of Hashem. And we atone for the sin of Yosef because the Shevatim were the ones who helped continue disseminating the word of Hashem and the presence of Hashem. And finally, Moshe and Aharon come and they bring about the presence of Hashem by assuring that Am Yisrael is going to be connected to Avihem Shebashamayim. So what the Nisi'im are doing, and I think it's very powerful, they're taking a step back and they're saying, yes, we have the Shekhinah today. We have this Mishkan, but we have to recognize all those who actually helped bring the Shekhinah down to this world. We have to recognize all those along the way who, without them doing what they did, we would never be here today. And it's a tremendous statement of Hakarat HaTov that the Nisi'im are doing by bringing the Qurban and thinking of these people and realizing that there's a chain within Judaism, that everything is built upon what happened in the past and does not come in a vacuum. And we always have to remember our past, honor our past, respect our past, because wherever we end up is all because those generations have continued the links in the chain of the connection of Hashem and Adam, and until we end up where we end up today. So we should never forget that, just like the Nisi'im, and always keep in mind our history, and always remember where we came from, and appreciate the heroes and the great men and women of the past. Thank you, and Shabbat Shalom.